Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on UppTalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say UppTalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you are new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
Right, go to the password of the Power folder. Go to password word web access. Go to installation automation. Right click on BOR underscore prerequisites. Nothing is coming up here. Alright, no problem. At the top left, do you see a file option there? Sakshi. At the top right, sorry, top left, top left. A file, no, not that, just not that. Just below that there is a file option, right? File option. Open Windows PowerShell. We need to run it as administrator. Can you close this one? Just take your cursor to this option right here. Click on File. Click on File once. Take your cursor to the second option. Do not click. Second one. Open with Open Windows PowerShell and receive PowerShell as an administrator. Run it as administrator. Right. Can you write the name of the script here? Once go back to the folder once again. Sec. And if possible, can you try to rename this or just let's write the name itself. PBA underscore prerequisite.ps1. Go back to the PowerShell. Go back to the PowerShell. No, open the PowerShell window. That's already open, right? Type it. No, it should be in uppercase. Can you write PVOA underscore prerequisites? Prerequisite should not be in uppercase. Can you just see the name once again? The name of the script. It's PU is uppercase. The rest of them is in lowercase. Write prerequisite. Prerequisite. Is it? It should be S, right? Prerequisites. And can you add a dot slash before the PVVOA? Just navigate before the PVVOA. And backward slash. No backward slash. Try it, enter. Alright, it should complete the prerequisite and you can go for the installation. Alright, that's it. Sakshi, you should be able to do the installation now. Vishish, can you go ahead and share the screen? Sakshi, you can stop. On the last session, we did the PVDAO installation, the prerequisite, and the installation. Now that the UI is built, let's understand the functionalities on each of these tabs that we see here. Since we are logged in as administrator, we see all these tabs on the left pane. We see we have access to system, health, the application, the administration, accounts, and policies. A lot of options are available for us. Start with the first one. Let's go to the System Health page. System Health page basically gives you the details of all the components that are installed in your CyberArk architecture. And not only the details of the component, it also gives you the health status of those components, whether your components are working fine or not. We have a vault and a web portal, a portal as in PVVA. If you see a green symbol in these components, that means all the connectivity is there. The functionalities are working fine. The vault is connected to the rest of the components. The vault is connected to the left, and you see a yellow crown symbol. That basically means that this vault is acting as the primary server. All the authentication, all the information retrieval is being processed by this particular vault. Once we have multiple vaults, let's say a disaster recovery, you'll see a green symbol, but you'll not see a crown symbol. Crown symbol only dictates that the vault is the primary server for all the information retrieval and all the processes. Web portal. We have a PVOA. Active users is 0 at this time because we just built the PVOA. No end users have initiated the connection to the PVOA. If you click on this green bar right there, it's going to give you more information about the PVOA. Information as in the version of the PVOA and the IP address of the server where it is installed. The component user, PVOA app user, we have talked about this on the theory session, PVOA app user and gateway user. The connectivity status and the version of the PVOA, we are using the 12.1. But that's all. The System Health page basically enables you to do without logging into the component servers. You can monitor the functionality of the component servers from the UI itself. The second page we have if you go to the Accounts page once. Just click on the Accounts page. That should be it. Accounts View page is the default page that you land into when you log into the PVOA. Accounts View page provides the inventory of the CyberArk infrastructure. Basically, all the accounts that are onboarded to your CyberArk architecture is going to be showing up here. If you are an administrator, you'll be able to see all the accounts. If you are an auditor, you'll be able to have list permission or show. See all the accounts. But if you are a normal, read-only standard end user, you'll only see the accounts that you have authorizations to access. We have a lot of filtering options available here because in real-time architectures, you can have more than thousands of accounts in place. And if you are looking for one particular type of accounts, you can use the filtering options to get all those details. Filters like recent use, recently used favorites. Checked out all these technologies we are going to learn in coming sessions. But these filters are going to help you to filter out a certain type of accounts. Every individual is going to have access to this particular page. Accounts View page is going to be common across all the user type, whether it is end user or administrator or an auditor. The Accounts View page is going to be common for all of them. We have a classic UI for this as well, which we'll talk about in coming sessions. The next option you have here on the left pane is policies. Can you go to the policies once? Alright. A master policy is basically a certain set of rules that are there to govern the behavior of your privilege accounts. The master policy is certain set of rules that are there to govern the behavior of your privilege account, but these rules you cannot create it by yourself. These rules are already there. You would be able to customize it, activate and inactivate these rules. But this is something that you cannot create it yourself. Anyway, the most of the use cases will be covered here with the existing rules. These rules will, you cannot apply it on one single account or some set of accounts that is onward to one single save. These rules will be applied to a particular platform. What is platform? How do we define platform inside CyberArk? Basically, to understand the master policy rules, we need to understand what platforms are and what saves are. If we talk about platforms, platforms are basically set of processes that are defined for your privilege session manager and your password manager component to follow. Let's take example to understand what platforms are. Let's say we have a user. We have an account that was created in Windows platform. We onboarded that account into CyberArk. A user wants to use that account to connect to the Windows server. CyberArk's functionality is that it's going to get the user connected to the respective target system without the user having to enter the password manually. On the back end, CyberArk is going to do all the processes. It's going to initiate the RDP client, enter the username and password automatically, and get the user connected to the respective target system without the user having to do any manual work. Similarly, for Linux systems, if a user clicks on the connect button, the CyberArk is going to initiate the PuTTY client on the back end, and it's going to get the user connected. For Oracle client databases, it's going to initiate the Oracle client or any other Oracle client to get the user connected to Oracle systems right. Different processes will be followed on the back end by the privilege session manager and the central policy manager to manage passwords. Different processes will be followed for different types of operating system, and these processes are written in form of code, in form of script in these platforms. And platforms are basically a set of processes that are defined for any particular operating system inside CyberArk. CyberArk, CPM or PSM can use those processes in order to do the password management and session management. And you do not have to write these processes from scratch. By default, we have most of the mainstream platforms covered here in CyberArk. If you click on policy by platform once on the left, you see policy by platform. We have most of the platforms covered here in CyberArk. If you see, we have platforms for Windows domain account. Domain means Active Directory domain. We have platforms for local accounts. We have platforms for Linux, any Unix machine. Platforms for firewall devices, network devices. If you scroll down, you'll also see the platforms for databases like Oracle and SQLite. DABOS, SAP is there. Most of the device and operating system that the organization is going to use. These platforms comes out of the box in CyberArk. As soon as you install, all the processes will already be there. All you need to do in order to have the password management and session management capability is just define the policy on board the account, and you should be ready with all the functionalities that CyberArk has, because we have the processes already written inside CyberArk in form of platforms. That's what we call platforms. Right policies will be defined on these platform level. You are not going to define policies for one single account. Policy will be defined on basis of operating system on platforms. For Windows, we are going to have separate set of policies. For Linux, we are going to have separate set of policies. This is what we are going to do with platforms. Make sense so far? Yes, all right. Cancel this wishes. Let's go back to the next thing we want to understand. We need to understand before we talk about master policies what saves are. As saves, we have already talked about. Saves are basically containers inside CyberArk where we onboard certain accounts and define separate access levels on them. Some of the saves will get created automatically during the installation of a component or even installation of the Vault. You have three saves like Vault and Notification Engine and System Save. If you notice, the saves that contains the majority of the configuration files is not going to be reflected here in PVView. System Save is not there, but Vault and Notification Engine is there. In any saves that gets created during the component installation automatically. These type of saves are not meant to store privilege accounts. They are there to store configuration files. They are there to store configuration files. If you want to onboard a particular privilege account in CyberArk and we need to define some accesses, we'll be creating our saves manually from this particular page. At the top right, do you see an option to add account, add saves wishes? Alright, let's write the name of the save. Wishes, you can write. Just write this save. That's fine. That's also fine. Description is not a mandatory parameter. But the best practice is that you need to add a description because in case the person who created the save has left the organization, you still need to be able to identify why the save was created, right? That is why you add descriptions. Enable object level access control is basically to be more granular with the permissions to control accesses on object level. That means control the accesses on each single account that you are onboarding in the save, right? Let's say we have 5 accounts that we have onboarded in save. A user wants access to all these 5 accounts. A user wants access to all these 5 accounts. You simply provided the access to the entire save. You provided the access to entire save. The user gets access to all the accounts. But if a user wants access to first 2 accounts and not the last 3 accounts, in those cases, you cannot provide the access to the entire save. In that case, you will have to be more granular with the permission. You have to control the accesses for every single account, allow the access to first 2 accounts, and restrict the access in the last 3. This is where object level access control can be handy, can be a good, can be an important feature. Object level access control feature allows you to control the accesses on each single account that are onboarded to the save. We'll have some use cases. We'll have some use cases with object level access control, but let's enable this for now. The next settings are basically retention settings here. If you click on your saved accounts, there are 2 alternate options for us. Save account. Save the last 5 account versions. That means any modifications that you do in the existing account that you have onboarded in CyberArk. If you choose to do any modification, let's say you modified the name or any property of the account, you will be able to restore the previous version. You do another modification, you will be able to restore the last 2 versions. You modify up to 5 times, you will be able to restore till 5 versions. But apart from that, you wouldn't be able to restore versions that are older than last 5 versions. And the alternative option you have here is save the account version from last X days. You can define a certain time frame here. Let's say if you write 7 days here, that means if you delete account today, it's going to be available for next 7 days within CyberArk. You would be able to restore it from a deleted account section. You will be able to restore the account till next 7 days. But after the 7th day, it's going to be permanently removed. These are basically retention settings of the accounts onboarded in the safe. Assigned to CPM is basically a password manager component in CyberArk. When you have multiple password manager component, multiple password manager servers, you can select which CPM you want to be able to manage the passwords onboarded. Manage the accounts onboarded in this particular safe. Assigned to CPM. That means you can choose which CPM you want to do the password management in this particular safe. Right now it says none because we do not have CPM deployed yet. We'll be doing that in coming session, but let's click on Save. If they select this, save the last 5 account versions, and if we delete the account, we'll still be able to restore that account from deleted accounts, right? Can you repeat that? If you select this option that save the last 5 account versions, in this option we say that after 7 days that account will be permanently deleted. This will not depend on 7 days. This basically depends on the versioning. It's going to stay there permanently. Let's say you created an account you deleted the account and created the account once again with the same kind of properties. You will be able to restore the older version of the account. In this case, this account stays permanently there, but you will be able to restore the previous version of the account. And if you, let's say, you deleted that account once again with the same set of properties, with the same IP address and same username, but there were slight changes, you would be able to restore the second up to 2 versions, and whatever your parameters modify here, you will be able to restore up to that version. If you have chosen time basis, on time basis, you will not be able to restore the account from after the expiry period. But if you have chosen to store the account based on versioning, you would have the capabilities to restore it as long as you are within the defined versioning period. Let's click on Save. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.